Hey everybody, welcome. How are you? So today I'm doing a react to Chantal's video called Pasta, Homemade Soup, and Croissant Sandwich Mukbang. And I'm not going to monetize this video because I want to be able to say what I want to say without YouTube trying to tell me what to do. I hate the fact that people that react to Chantal, we got to use code words. We got to come up with all kinds of code words and ways around to say something. I absolutely hate that. They'll sit there and they'll monetize her content and she's actually doing something that's harmful on YouTube. But we got to sit there and talk about her and use code words. Are you serious, YouTube? Not today, not this video. So in this video, Chantal talks about her BED and protesting how YouTube just can't tell her what to do and how it's wrong and it's discrimination and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to let go on Chantal. I'm just going to say what I want to say without the code words, without watching my language, because I've got a lot to say on Chantal. And so let's just get started. I know we normally look at stuff on Twitter, not this video. We'll do it later. Yes, there's going to be talk about BED and EDs in general. So if that triggers anybody watching this video, if that might affect you in some way, please just don't watch it, because I just want to go off on Chantal and just let her have it 100%. So let's just do this. All right. So there is a little Miss Foodie Beauty doing what she normally does, getting on YouTube and using food as content. And I'm mad at her. I am extremely angry at this woman because she's trying to find ways around YouTube and the whole new policies and new system they got in play. YouTube has a TOS now that says you cannot glorify eating disorders. But yet Chantal keeps trying to find ways to tiptoe past it, work her way around it. I feel the reason why she started doing the health content was trying to get around the TOS. And then she decided, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do what I want to do. So we're back to doing the food videos. And she tries to mix in, oh, I'm in recovery and I'm eating healthier. No, you're not. No, the fuck you're not. You're not eating healthier. And by the way, Chantal, don't think I haven't noticed the little tags you put on your videos. You keep mixing in your tags. You're trying to signal people that maybe have binge eating disorder and binge eating disorder recovery. You put in those tags. At the same time, you also add tags trying to signal all the feeders to come watch you. You know, fat girl going to Disney World, fat girl eating. Those are signaling the feeders. So you're trying to attract two different groups of people and put them on your channel. And that's just wrong, because the people that are out there that are in recovery for a binge eating disorder or in the process of being in recovery, you're basically putting in tags to bring them to your channel. At the same time, you're doing content that might trigger them. Bitch, don't do that. That is absolutely wrong. You're not in recovery. You're never going to be in recovery because you're too busy monetizing your problem to the point where this is your content and you don't want to change. Even though YouTube has policies now saying, don't do this, you're still going to do it. And I also caught that little nugget a while back where you were saying, oh, it's discrimination. They can't tell me not to eat. Everybody has to eat. So is that the plan, Chantal? Is that the plan, that if they try to shut you down from eating on camera, you might do a lawsuit or something of some kind claiming discrimination? No, it's not discrimination. YouTube is a public platform, and their job is to have a platform where people can come on YouTube and not get triggered or not be exposed to anything harmful. This is harmful. This is harmful for people to watch, and this is even harmful for you to do. You're doing self-harm content. Argue with me about that, because you will lose that argument. You are hurting yourself on camera, and you're expecting people to not only watch you, but pay you. And that is all kinds of wrong. But let's get started with this react, because again, I've got so much to say.
Vinegar. So again, I don't always feel like eating out, honestly, especially lately.
Liar. Liar, liar, toward pants on fire. You always feel like eating out. You always feel like that takeout because you're lazy. You don't like to cook. You even complain, oh, it's too hot to cook. You know, like, you don't want to cook, Chantal. You like the feeling of takeout because A, it's easy. Somebody just brings you the food. You don't have to prepare it. You don't have to think about what you're actually cooking, and then it has to actually taste good. No, you're all about that life of let's just make things easy. let's take the lazy way out and have somebody bring me the food. So the reason why maybe you don't want takeout these days is because it's expensive. It's expensive to order takeout. I don't care what you say, it's expensive. I've ordered from Postmates before. Just one meal for me cost me like $35. And consider all the food that you eat, your food bill from takeout must be about $100 a day. How long can you go on like that if your views are declining and you're not getting much in the way of super chats these days? You can't eat the way you used to eat. So now you're trying to put this spin on it of, I don't like to eat out as much. Yes, you do. You just can't afford it.
As I'm getting more into the intuitive eating.
Screw you. And shut the fuck up with that intuitive eating. Stop it. How can you eat intuitively when you don't have any sense of self-control? You have no other coping mechanisms. You have no other coping skills. You're not doing anything to keep yourself away from food. You're doing content based around food and eating food on camera. Where does that intuitive eating come into play? No such thing with you. You can't eat intuitively if you don't have any sense of self-control. And you have none. You're not going to therapy. You're not interested in therapy. And that is something that you need desperately, as well as inpatient. How can you even be on the path to recovery if you don't have the right tools and you're not in recovery? And you're monetizing your shit.
I see a lot of people joking about that. She intuitively felt like eating half a pizza. Okay, I had 3 slices. If you Google, that's the norm for people to eat.
No, not letting you get away with that either. You're all about that life of finding workarounds. So what you did was you got an extra large pizza. And you got an extra large pizza, not just because you're gluttonous and you always got to do the most. You could have gotten a small personal pan pizza, which would have been a lot smaller, and you would have gotten less. You went for the extra large pizza. Because then you could say, oh, I just ate 3 slices. Those 3 slices were equal to 6 pieces or 5 pieces, Chantal. The extra large pieces are going to be bigger, so you're going to eat more, but you can say to the camera, I only ate 3 slices. When in actuality, if it were a regular slice, it was equal to 5 or 6. You're one person eating a freaking pizza. Why do you need an extra large pizza? So just you doing that, ordering an extra large pizza, and just eating 3 huge slices, just 1 slice would have been enough for me. I would have been full off of that. But you're like, you did the extra large on purpose just to act like you ate less when you really, really didn't.
And yeah, I intuitively want a pizza. Exactly. That's exactly how it works.
If your intuition is leading you straight to pizza, which is one of your trigger foods, then you're not eating intuitively. Sorry, no. Game over. You're not eating intuitively. If you're choosing a trigger food and you're not even in recovery, you're not even at the end, you're already picking up a trigger food and saying, let's just eat this today. You're not eating intuitively. You're going straight for the trigger foods when you should be avoiding them at this point.
Works. I could have easily binged. Okay, me binging, that's the difference right there. A binge would be me eating the whole pizza and then more. But I had 3 slices and stopped.
You know what? Fuck off with that. Seriously. Screw off. She's trying to paint this picture of this is what a binge looks like. One size fits all. A binge looks like a whole spread of food in front of me. If I don't have a whole spread of food in front of me, that's not a binge. A binge could be anything. There's different things you can do as far as that. Like there's overeating. And with Chantal, she eats until she's literally so full, she can't eat another bite. If you're overstuffed, you've already eaten too much. So just by overstuffing yourself, that's still bad for you, Chantal. It's bad. And we know you don't stop there. You'll overstuff yourself, and then a couple hours later, you have to eat again. So you're eating every 2 hours throughout your day. Just because there's not a whole spread of food in front of you doesn't mean it's not a binge. There is a thing called grazing, where you're eating a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it goes on for hours. That's a binge. That's a binge. Just because all the food is not spread out in front of you all at once where everybody can see it does not mean it's not a binge. Grazing is a thing. You were doing it in Canada when you were on the edibles. We saw many nights of you sitting in front of your camera and you're eating chips and then something else and then something else and something else. It would go on for hours. So just because you're showing us this right now doesn't mean you're not eating more when the camera's turned off. We know you are. You even told us you have. When you got the diet boxes, you said, I ate the diet boxes and then I had a really bad binge moment afterwards. So a little is never enough for you. You're still overeating, which is leading to what? It's leading to worse health problems. It's leading to more weight gain. It's leading to problems of you having trouble breathing, having trouble walking, having trouble moving. I really hate the fact that you're on YouTube and the people that see your content, you're trying to bring in different audiences and you're trying to spin this narrative of, I know what I'm talking about. Clearly you don't. Because if you knew what you were talking about, if you were misknowledge over there, you'd be a lot healthier, wouldn't you? The fact that you're sitting there sick, unable to move, having trouble breathing, you walk from the kitchen to your living room and you're out of breath, clearly you don't know what you're talking about. And clearly nobody should listen to you as far as health advice or life advice.
Stopped when I was full. So actually, yes, that was.
The idea is to learn how to eat pizza normally, not avoiding it entirely.
Actually very good progress. All right, so let's try a bite of this. There's dill. I'm making a big deal about the dill. That's very good. The croissant is good. Sorry, baby girl, but I need to drink. This food is really delicious.
Chantal will never give up the food content because she's even said herself many times, it's lazy, it's effortless content. She could just sit down, put a bunch of food in front of her, eat a meal, and get paid for it. That's why she loves to do it. She can indulge herself and get paid. And the content that she's doing on YouTube, let's just be real. Let's be really real. This is an addict indulging in their addiction on camera in front of everybody, letting everybody watch and expecting it to get paid for this. I'm going to hurt myself on camera and y'all are going to watch and I'm going to get paid for it. People have told her, hey, you can do other content on your channel. We'll still watch. There are people on her channel that have gotten behind her when she starts to really eat healthy and take care of herself, but her eating healthy and getting her life together would take work. She avoids work at all costs. So she'd just rather do what's easy and she can make money off of it. Well, when you watch Chantal, you're literally watching somebody who is an addict do their addiction on camera in front of the public, looking to get compensated for them doing their addiction.
I didn't put a mountain of parm. Bay leaf. So they cook all of their meals. They prepare all their meals, which I like.
And for anybody who happens to come across Chantal, you find her videos. If you have BED or any kind of ED, my advice to you is stay away from her. Don't watch her content. She might trigger the shit out of you. Stay away from her. It's wrong of her to mix up tags in her video description, like health journey and BED recovery and all that. At the same time, she uses other tags where she's signaling the feeders. If you got a problem with food at all, you're trying to get healthy, stay away from this woman. Don't look to her as, oh, she's in BED recovery, I should watch her. Trust me, no, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. She's trying to tiptoe around YouTube and their new policies by trying to act like she's on a health journey and recovery. She's not. She's not done the work. She's not in therapy. She's not talking to anybody. She's not looking for different coping mechanisms to stay away from food. She's going straight for it. So if you have BED or any kind of ED and don't watch Chantal, just don't do it.
That's really good. So yeah, sometimes I'll order out, sometimes I won't, but I'm gonna have dinner with you guys. I know people were saying, I wanted to talk a bit about the policies of eating disorder policy of YouTube. So if you look it up, which I have.
Yeah, my question is YouTube. What's going on? You got this new policy. I support the new policy. I do. I don't think anybody should be glorifying or making money off of videos that are glorifying EDs at all. It's unhealthy. It's harmful content. So you got these new policies, YouTube. Clearly, she's breaking your TOS. Why aren't you doing something? Why are you still allowing this? Those of us that react to Chantal, even though we're not doing it on camera, we have to use code words. We want to talk about our content. We want to give our thoughts. You're having us use silly code words. We got to watch our language. But yet you're okay with this crap. You're allowing it to happen. She's breaking TOS. Why aren't you doing something? I'm wondering. I'm just curious.
To avoid being ignorant on the subject. And by the way, the soup is like sweet a little bit.
No, Chantal's stupid. Her channel is her income. This is how she keeps everything going. Everything in her world depends on her money and making money off this channel. YouTube has a TOS now that says you cannot glorify EDs, or, like if you got an ED, you can't do this kind of content. So I would think somebody like Chantal, that this is her world. This is how she makes money. And she knows that if she breaks terms of service, YouTube could take her channel away and then her whole world is going to collapse. Why not change your content up, Chantal? Why not follow the terms of service like the rest of us do? But no, you're going to try to tiptoe around it. You're walking the thin line with YouTube, but yet you just won't stop.
And I think it's more tailored to anorexia. And
you know what, Chantal? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the policies refer to Anna or any other EDs. All EDs, they hurt you, okay? They're serious. Whether you have BED or any other ED, it's something that's going on with you that hurts you. So is that what you're looking at when you're looking at the TOS? Oh, they must not be talking about me. They're talking about somebody else. So therefore, it does not apply to me. Ma'am, it doesn't change the fact that you have an ED, that you have BED. It doesn't change the fact that you're getting on YouTube and you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. It doesn't change the fact that you're hurting yourself on camera, letting people watch. You don't eat off camera where we don't see and we don't know. You're doing it on camera and you expect to get paid for it. All this crap that you've been doing on YouTube for years. You've been hurting yourself, gaining more weight. It's led to more health problems, less mobility. I have a hard time breathing. You can even walk across the room without sweating, without breathing heavy. That should alarm you, but it doesn't. You're stubborn as a mule. You just want to keep on doing this crap, and you think there's going to be no consequences. Well, something's got to give sometime. I'm not wishing anything upon you, but you got to know something's got to give at some point. So if YouTube has changed the terms of service, and you know that what you're doing, you're breaking the rules, and even if there were no rules, you shouldn't be doing it anyway. Why not change? Why not take a different path? You know, it's time. It's been time for a long time, but it's especially time right now. No one needs to see this shit right here. And you shouldn't be doing it. So why not just change the whole program?
Because they have clauses that specifically talk about glorifying it, like not eating, body shaming weight in regards to eating disorders and things like that. The wording was interesting, but there's nothing in there about binge eating.
Yeah, she's taking advantage of that. Oh, there's nothing in there about BED. You still have a problem with food. This is still wrong. On so many levels, it's wrong. I called it a while ago. Your channel, a while ago, you turned it into a feeder channel. You got attention with the mukbangs. That attracted a lot of feeders. And you catered almost exclusively to them. You've got people in your audience that are not feeders. There are people in your audience that they care about you and they care about your health and they encourage you to eat healthy, but you didn't really care about them. You don't care what they have to say. You were all about anyone who was a feeder, that if you want to eat a bunch of food, they're going to encourage it. They're going to, cheer you on. And also, feeders pay well, don't they, Chantal? Those are the guys that were sending you gifts and buying you clothes. Maybe sending you money through PayPal and Cash App. Yeah, you catered to those people. You turned your channel into a feeder channel. You were all about that life of finding those people that would get in your audience and they cheered you on and sent you super chats and all that crap. And those people, they don't care about you. They care about having their fetish fulfilled. And if you took this crap on OnlyFans or any other site, you'd have competition from other people who are doing the same content, and you'd have to promote. So you came to YouTube doing the mukbang content because there's very little competition. And it's on a public platform, which means you have the most people in front of you and you don't have to advertise. Doing fetish content on a public forum. Got a bunch of people that got behind you. Now you're doing it again. You're eating food on camera. You use the tags trying to signal those feeders. You're not trying to break the cycle. You're trying to keep it going.
They don't specifically name eating disorders, but at the same time.
Yeah, and you take advantage of the fact that they don't specifically say BED. Hey, YouTube, it's time to update that policy. Go to a dictionary or something and find all of the EDs that are out there and put that in the policy so this crap can't happen again. Because this one is taking advantage of the fact that you didn't say specifically BED. Put it in there. Include all of them so that those can't be glorified nor monetized.
They do mention that they want to encourage people to continue to share their stories. So me talking about my eating disorders.
It's one thing for someone to get on YouTube and make videos sharing their stories, people that want to be in recovery, people that are in recovery, people that are on that path. That's one thing. It's another thing for someone to walk around the rules and try to use the whole BED thing as a means to gain sympathy from people and glorify what she's doing. Whole different animal.
Disorder and showing my struggles and my...
You are not struggling. The only thing you're struggling with is finding ways to get around YouTube so you can keep on with the same kind of content you've been doing for years because you don't want to stop.
How I'm choosing to eat in recovery.
Bitch, are you serious? I'm in recovery. You're not in recovery. You haven't done the work. You've done no work. What have you done to be in recovery? I want to know. What have you done to be in recovery? Have you gone to therapy? Who are you talking to? We've heard no talk about her talking to a therapist, have we? There's been no talk about, I have different coping mechanisms now. I have different coping skills. I know how to short circuit those thoughts of food. There's other things that I do to keep myself away from food. Have we heard any of that, y'all? No? That's because she's done no work. So she's not gone to therapy, and she's not an inpatient. She's not talking to nobody. She's not learning nothing. How can she be in recovery? How dare you say you're in recovery, Chantal, at the same time you're doing this crap right here? How can you say that? There are lots of people that struggle with BED or any kind of ED. And they go through that hell and they come out the other side. And they're in recovery and they're doing better. You're not in that category. You know you have a problem with food, but at the same time you ignore the problem because you're busy making money on it. And I've said it so many times, I'll say it one more time. You cannot heal in the same environment that you hurt in. If you're being enabled in that environment in any way by anybody, and if you're monetizing it, there's no recovery. You're not recovering from anything, except for a case of indigestion because you're eating too doggone much.
Is all considered sharing my story. I'm not sitting here saying, hey guys, come binge with me.
You kind of are, though. You kind of are. Because you feel free to put the word binge in your titles. I remember all the way back when you did live streams and videos, you put binge in the title because you were signaling those feeders to come watch you and sub to you. And then after YouTube changed their policy, you came up with that little cutesy word that you overused, bees. Because YouTube doesn't have a problem with the word bees. That's not against their policy. So when they said you can't put binge in the title anymore, you use the word bees. Everything was bees, bees this, bees that. And bees was your word for misbehaving. And we know what you mean by misbehaving. Misbehaving in titles, I'm going to do too many chemicals. I'm going to eat too much. Everybody knows what it means and that it still means. So you switched over your wording to bees instead of binge, but you were still binging on camera. And even now, you're using the word binge. It's just that you add a few extra words. Oh, binge eating recovery, but the word binge is still in the title. And you use that in your tags as well. You're still trying to get those feeders on your channel, even though they don't give a single flying fuck about you and what happens to you, Chantal. They don't care if you end up in the hospital sick or worse. They care about having their fetish fulfilled. It's such a shame. You have 100% audience of people. Some of those people care about you. But you're only interested in catering to the 25%. They're just there for their interest and no other thing. So they're there to encourage you to eat. They'll back you up because they're getting what they want out of you. They don't care how sick it makes you, how sick it is making you more. And you're going to be okay with that. You want a bunch of yes men around you. You don't want anybody telling you no. At this point, the word no would do you a lot of good. You need people around you that will tell you no and not let you have everything you want. Because getting everything you want is just making you more unhealthy.
I'm also not eating a dangerous amount of food.
Excuse me? You are not doing what? Ma'am? You're over there eating 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, whatever calories a day. How is that not dangerous? Explain to me exactly how that's not dangerous. When you're sitting there, you have trouble breathing, you have trouble walking, you have very little mobility. You are so close to being bedbound, it's not even funny. How is that not dangerous? You're gaining more weight every single day. Your mobility, your breathing, you're moving, affected. Your health is getting worse. How is that not dangerous? It's dangerous to your health. Yet you don't care. It doesn't matter if you eat 10,000 calories in one sitting or 5,000 calories for one meal and then a couple hours later eat another 5,000. It's still entirely too much, and it's leading to your health becoming worse. You are affecting your own health. You're affecting the quality of your life. So yeah, it's dangerous. Stop playing, semantics with this, Chantal. Stop trying to find ways around it, Chantal, and look at the real truth. Your health is bad. It's very, very bad. I just did a react to you being at the movie theater. You sitting in a chair, you look completely uncomfortable. Jesus Christ, woman, wake the fuck up.
Which, in that case, compared to most mukbangers, I mean, they would have to get rid of all mukbangers, thin or fat.
You know what? Not all people who do mukbangs have problems with food. So you're doing the whataboutisms. What about the other people that are doing mukbangs? They would have to get rid of all of them. Those people are doing mukbangs. They could do a mukbang and they don't have a problem with food, but you do. So you're doing the whataboutisms. What about this person? They're doing a mukbang, so I should be able to do it too. No, you shouldn't. Because you have a problem with food that's completely out of control. You're in really bad health. Trying to use somebody else who's got a mukbang channel and say, well, they're here, so I should be here. No, you shouldn't. This whole issue should have been dealt with years ago. And what pisses me off about you, Chantal, is that you have a channel and you've made buku amount of money. You could have fixed yourself long ago in every way. There's resources, there was money, there was time, there was energy. You just chose to ignore the warning signs and just put your foot on the gas pedal and go straight ahead. And here we are. And even though the policies have changed once again, and you know you shouldn't be doing this kind of content, you are.
But even competitive eaters, that's not binge eating. Binge eating is a psychological disorder. It's not just how much people who overeat don't necessarily have binge eating disorder. That's where it gets.
Look, I'm not a doctor and I'm not here trying to diagnose Chantal. Only a medical doctor, only a certified professional would know the extent of all of her issues, physically and otherwise, and be able to tell where she's at and what she needs. But she is right. With a BED, there might be some emotional things going on. There might be some psychological things going on. That's why you need therapy, Chantal. That's why you need to go to therapy and talk to people if you care and figure it out. But you don't want to do the work. You don't want to confront the issues. You don't want to know what your triggers are and how to stay away from them. You don't want to create a sense of self-awareness about yourself and realize when you're going down a dark path and stop yourself from going down that dark path. You want to continue on the dark path. You want to make the road bigger, not smaller. You don't want stop signs. You want green lights. Cut the shit. I'm someone that I've dealt with BED. Took me 6 years to be in recovery. 6 years, but I did it. And if I can do it, then you can do it. You just don't want to. That's the thing. You don't want to. Everybody's looking at you saying, you need to slow down. You need to fix this. But you're not interested. You got people in your audience that are saying, we'll stand behind you if you decide to go on a health journey. We'll stand behind you if you want to eat healthier and take care of yourself. So if the fear is, if I change up my content, my channel will tank, wrong. It won't tank. It actually might get better. You might have a whole new group of people that get behind you that will watch your videos and your live streams, and they will get behind you for the right reasons versus that little small subset of people that are getting behind you for the wrong reasons. And it's leading to your bad health. Stop it. Just stop it. I'm going to say something that's sad but true, but it needs to be said. Addictions are harmful. They can be lethal sometimes. Some people who are addicts, they don't make it out of the addiction alive. Addiction does take lives. And the recovery for an addiction, it starts with the person saying, I have a problem. This thing is over my head. I need help. Someone please help me. It's out of my control. I don't have control right now. But they have to take that first step. They have to just surrender and say, I've got an issue that I cannot fix myself. I've been watching Chantal for years. She'll go as far as saying, yes, I have a problem, but she's not at that point where she's ready to surrender and say, I need help, because she's too busy monetizing her freaking problem. And she will do it as long as YouTube allows it. Sad. Sad when she's got the alternative to stop this crap, turn the fuck around in the road and go a different way.
Into the semantics and key points here. So maybe you think a meal is for 800 people, but it's not, okay? Like,
Chantal, you sit down and you eat the portions for 4 people. I mean, a whole big plate of spaghetti. I'm going to show you this right here. You guys have heard me talking on my React videos. Didn't I give some advice about if you have a problem with food? One of the easiest things you can do for yourself is to take away the big plates and the big bowls and use smaller bowls, because by doing that, you're controlling your portion sizes. That if you have a big plate or a big bowl, you will fill it up and you're eating twice the amount that you need. Here's an example right here. Look at this side of this bowl. Huge. She didn't need all that. She could have had a smaller soup bowl and that would have been fine. That would have been a very easy, free way to just control her portions of food, to be more aware of them. You get a small portion of something, you eat it. It gives you a chance to stop and say, okay, I've eaten this small bowl of something or this small plate of something. Do I really need more? You're more aware of the portions that you're eating and how much, just by doing that. Big old plate of spaghetti, huge out of control bowl for the soup. You know, like everything has to be massive with Chantal. Gigantic. It can't just be a little small portion of spaghetti. It's got to be a whole plate. Can't be a small bowl of soup. The soup bowl has to be massive. Because in her mind, if it's not a big portion, it's not enough. She's always trying to top off the tank, even though she's not going anywhere.
my video where I was eating a salad and a side of sweet potato fries, someone was like, oh, nice, you're glorifying a binge eating disorder.
You do. You do. You are. And that's coming from somebody who had BED. You have been for years. We've been knowing you got a problem with food. But you go back and forth. One minute you're saying, I got a problem with food. The next minute you're saying, I'm going to eat whatever I want. So you don't care about your health, Chantal. You don't care. You don't care that you're becoming more and more sick, more and more unhealthy, your lack of mobility, your bad breathing. You don't care about none of that. Yet you get on YouTube and you expect everybody else to care. You get on YouTube and do videos like this, and you don't expect no criticism. Everybody's supposed to co-sign on your bullshit. And you get mad at the reaction channels for calling you out on your shit. You hate it. And yet you make what you do public. This is not even a private thing. This is a public thing. So you get in the public eye, wanting to make money off the public, but the public is not supposed to have any opposing opinions or feelings about what you do. Well, if you don't want people to say stuff, then do this eating in private. How about that?
By eating for a family of 8.
You do.
Like if you're feeding your family a few side fries and you're splitting a single salad, like somebody should call the freaking protective services on you for underfeeding your family, because that's, I'm not saying go do that, because some people will get that idea. Don't do it, but I'm just using that as an example. That's like, I mean, come on. That's not family food. That's like individual. Give me a break. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But I have a right to talk about my journey on my channel.
You're not going anywhere. A journey implies you're going somewhere. You're on a path to something. You're going nowhere except to the bathroom to take your 16 million craps a day because you keep eating and you won't stop. You don't give your body a break. There's not a pause between meals. I'm sure your digestive system is all kinds of out of whack because you keep stuffing it full of food. But you're not on a true journey, Chantal. There's nothing different here. You were in Canada, you were overeating, you were binging. You went to Kuwait, same thing. What journey are you making? What difference between there and here is there? You went to Kuwait and mama, you put on a lot of weight. A lot. To the point where if you don't stop, you're going to be bedbound. And trust me, that's no fun. I don't know if that's the plan, to be bedbound and therefore Salah's going to be stuck with you, but I guarantee you he will not take care of you if that happens. He doesn't have the medical training to take care of a bedbound person. He's going to get overwhelmed and he's going to bail. And then what's he going to do? So you might want to just take your foot off the gas pedal with this nonsense and start putting on the brakes.
I also have a right to eat what I want.
So eat what you want off camera. Why do we have to see it? Eat what you want off camera. Nobody would say anything. Why do you have to do this stuff publicly? You're going to do it off camera. I don't encourage you to binge eat or overeat off camera. I wish you would take care of your health, but doggone it, why do you have to do videos like this? Why? Knowing it's wrong, knowing it's against YouTube policy. Why?
And eat on camera. Because the very thing I'm trying to avoid is this negative attitude towards food as an overweight person. That shame of, what are you eating on camera for? You're eating way too much. That
You do.
perpetuates eating disorders.
Nope. Okay. No. We're not doing that today. No. Not letting you get away with that. Not. Ma'am, you have a BED. Have you been to therapy to know what triggers your BED? Have you? You can't make statements like that.
So, yeah. Say what you want. It's been working for me.
Obviously not. Obviously not. Because you haven't gotten the clue. All the money that you made on YouTube, and it's still, you didn't buy a clue when you needed it. So let me just give you one for free. I'll do you a solid. I'll give you a clue. Back in the day, you were making tons of money off the mukbang content. That was your content. You got a lot of attention and money because you hopped on the mukbang train when it was hot. But trends come and go, don't they? They fade out after a while. And the people that are still doing those trends, they have to evolve what they're doing in order to keep up and make it interesting for other people to watch. A lot of mukbangers have done that, but you haven't. So you started off doing the mukbang content. You got that crowd with you. You attracted a lot of feeders. And they bought you food and they bought you clothes. Y'all remember the Lakma fairy? Who do you think that was? That was a feeder. She was doing the toured hauls. Most of those items catered to the feeders. The guys that want to see her have trouble getting into her clothes. Yeah, that too. They were sending stuff to her house. They were paying her for requests off camera. Yeah, doing all that. And then she screwed up. She absolutely screwed up by mixing in the feeder stuff with drama about Natter. Y'all remember like that whole year, the Olympics with Natter. So mixing in the dark, triggering drama with that content, and a lot of the feeder guys said, look, we're just here for the food. We're not here for all this. And they left. So now she's trying to get them all back. Natter's out of the picture. She's trying to get them all back. She's still trying to signal them, hey, I'm over here in the corner. Remember me? You used to watch me doing the food content. I'm doing it again. I got to be careful with what I say because it's YouTube and YouTube terms of policy, but I'm still doing it. So come back and watch me eat. Yeah, that's happening. Clearly that's happening. And she may sit there and get all pissed off. Oh, the YouTube policies, this, that, and the other thing. Well, not your platform. You're not the boss. You're not in charge of YouTube. They can make whatever the rule they want. And you have to follow it. We all have to follow the terms of service. So if we got to follow it, so do you, Chantal. Stop crying, bitching, and whining about it.
You know, I'm not trying to be sassy. I'm just trying to be informative. Like, so good. Wow.
That right there. Like her, she's stuffing her face. She's catering to the feeders. Like, why do you have to load up your fork like that, Chantal? Normal bites, mama. You can take them. No one's going to take the food away from you. And just to answer a question that nobody has asked yet, like anybody watching Chantal, you see her dripping the food down her mouth and down her abaya on her hijab. You may think that, yeah, that's bad table manners, and it is, but something you should know. The feeders love that shit. So she's catering exclusively to them by doing that, by letting the food deliberately drip down her face, onto her clothes, wearing her clothes stained with food. They love that. They absolutely love it. She does a lot of things on her channel that cater to those fetish groups.
Cat is laying beside my Pepsi. So what are you guys having for dinner? Butternut squash was on sale, so I thought I'll make a really good soup. And it's honestly so high in fiber and vitamins.
Like you give a shit. You really don't give a shit. See, I see what you did here, Chantal. You really wanted to eat that spaghetti. You could have just put a big old plate of spaghetti in front of you and called it a day. But you deliberately added the soup and the salad to make it look like you were eating healthy to get around YouTube, didn't you? Yeah, I'm clocking it. You can care less about that salad or that soup, but you'll eat it if it means you can put content on YouTube and monetize it.
I love it. One of my favorite meals ever, soup and sandwich. A good soup and a good sandwich.
We haven't seen you eat much of that. It's always pasta. It's always carbs, fries. You're not about that life of eating vegetables. And to be honest, the feeders don't care either. Feeders don't care about healthy food. They want to see you eat junk food, processed food, anything takeout. They love that. They're not paying you for the healthy stuff. They're paying you for the unhealthy stuff. You're trying to act like you're eating healthy here with the soup and the salad, but what's in front of her? The pasta. She wants to eat the pasta and get away with it.
And it was so easy because you want a trick? If you're making soup with squash, poke a few holes in it, put it on some aluminum paper or baking sheet, put it in the oven for like an hour and 10 minutes until tender on 425.
This is Chantal being educational Annie and trying to act like she eats healthy. If only she did. If only she were into eating healthy, she'd be a lot healthier.
You don't have to peel it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to cut it, because I know how hard it is to cut butternut squash, especially if you don't have a good knife like I don't. So I should get a knife set, but honestly, those are things that I just don't really care about. Like, if I can make do somehow, then I will.
So you'll sit there and you'll spend $100 a day plus on takeout, but you won't buy a knife. You won't buy a nice sharp knife so you can do some healthy cooking. Make it make sense, y'all. Sit there and spend $100 on takeout, but you won't go out and buy a simple knife or tools so she can do healthy cooking. That should tell you how much she cares about healthy cooking. She's gone out shopping with Salah. I mean, there's nowhere in Kuwait that might sell a sharp knife that they can get a hold of. That just gives her the perfect excuse not to eat healthy. Well, I don't have the right knife. I just have sporks. I can't do healthy cooking with a spork, can I? So we could just order takeout tonight. Excuses rather than ways to actually do things properly.
With what I have, you know. We're pretty much just using the cutlery. Salah had a pretty good kitchen setup, you know, for the size of his old place. His bachelor pad. I liked it there. It was cozy.
Then why'd y'all move? If it was so cozy, why did you move? I remember you doing live streams from there, and you were saying this place is perfect. It has everything we need, blah blah blah. But then you moved into this place. You guys moved because everybody looked at it and said, "What's going on here? All this exposed wiring. It's really really small." And nobody would have had to say a word about that, Chantal, if it hadn't been for your mouth, by the way. You were talking up Salah, and you were saying he's a successful businessman. He's so successful, I could quit YouTube. I can quit doing the YouTubes. So you painted this picture of Salah to us, and then when we saw the reality, that's where everybody had a lot to say. So because of your lies, everybody had a lot to say. But it was cozy, right? So why'd you move? It's very strange, Chantal, that you and Salah, you're in Kuwait. You guys move every few months. You change cars every few months. What's going on there? What are you guys trying to hide? So much moving within a very short period of time.
All right. So that's the post. You can read it yourself. I can put a link to it if I remember. But on YouTube with the eating disorder. And I honestly think they were partly forced to add a clause like that because of all the complaints and petitions they were getting about Eugenia Cooney.
And I'm sure there's a lot of complaints about you. I'm sure a lot of people were tweeting at YouTube and emailing YouTube saying, why are you allowing her to do this? Why are you allowing this channel to exist on YouTube when they do triggering, shocking content that clearly is against your terms of service? What is the deal? There are smaller channels that have been yeeted for a lot less. And yet she's done the most on her channel. She has shown things on her channel that really she should have been, yeeted for. Straight up nudity, flashing the audience, doing chemicals on camera, being completely intoxicated on camera, doing offensive things that are not allowed. But yet they allowed her channel to stay for the longest. Then they took it away, then they gave it back, which is unheard of, them giving a channel back. So they gave your channel back, Chantal, and that should have been a wake-up call. But it wasn't. It made you more arrogant than ever. It gave you the feeling that you were untouchable. Well, just because YouTube lets you have a channel for whatever reason, look what you're doing with it. You're still using your channel to make yourself more unhealthy and find people that'll back that up and fund it.
And a lot of pro-Anna sites and stuff like that. She's more influential to young people because, let's face it, I don't have many young people watching me. Maybe childish adults, but not young people.
I'm just going to say my feelings here. I've always been afraid of anybody looking at Chantal, seeing the size of her channel. And we live in a time now where everybody wants to go viral. Everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to make that one TikTok or that one video that just goes viral. And the next thing you know, they're all over the place on talk shows, getting paid. I've always been afraid of somebody looking at Chantal and her channel, seeing the size of her channel, and maybe having the thought of, well, I want to make it big on YouTube. I want to have a really big channel and be 92K subscribers. So I guess maybe I'll follow in her footsteps. Anybody out there that might have that thought, let me caution you against it by saying this. What she's doing is not worth it. Health is wealth. Your health is everything. If you're not healthy, you're going to have a lot of trouble doing things. Always treasure your health. She gets on YouTube and she does this content, which she really shouldn't be doing, and she's hurting herself. She's got massive amounts of health problems. She's very unhealthy. Do not look at the size of her channel and want to have a big channel and think this is the path to take to get there. There's a lot of other healthier things you can do to have a big channel on YouTube, but don't take this path. Just don't do it.
And I'll never glorify.
Like her and Amberlynn Reed, yes, they have big channels. Yes, they make money. Yes, they're getting a YouTube paycheck, but at what cost? At the cost of their health. In my opinion, YouTube was the worst thing to happen to Chantal, because she was just a regular person out in the world making money, earning a paycheck. She'd be a lot healthier. She would not have been able to indulge herself and everything that she wanted and be where she is right now. She would have been able to spend thousands of dollars a month on edibles and junk food and all kinds of food. She might be healthier right now if she had not been on the YouTubes. Same thing with Amberlynn Reed. She's making a lot of money, but she really can't go anywhere. She can't do anything. The quality of her life is poor. Is it worth it to trade your health for a freaking paycheck? No, it isn't.
A binge. Like I said, you can think that you've seen a binge on my channel. You haven't. Not once.
We've seen it many times. Many times. And I'll go all the way back to when you were with BB. I remember those late night trips, going from fast food place to fast food place, and you were giddy. You were absolutely giddy to go running around in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, with your live stream running, and everybody watched you do what you did. Those were binge moments. When you were in Canada and you were doing the edibles, there were many binge moments. So just because you're in Kuwait and you're doing them off camera, just because we can't see them don't mean they're not happening. You even confessed recently that you had a binge moment. You ate the diet boxes and then you went ham on the food. So talk to me again about the supposed recovery you're in, Chantal. If you're having moments like that and you're in an environment where there's no control, you don't have it, Salah doesn't have it for you. You can pick up a phone, push an app, get the food, or he brings it home to you, and he's not going to tell you no. What about that environment? Is there any control when there's nothing stopping you? How is recovery possible? Added to the fact you've got your YouTube channel and you're making money on your problem. Recovery is not possible with all that going on.
I've overeaten. But so does anyone who does a mukbang.
How do you know that? I've sat there and watched mukbang videos. They put out a spread of food, but it doesn't mean they're overeating. Are you inside their bodies to know how full their stomach is? And again, just because there are mukbangers on YouTube doesn't mean they have eating problems too. They're just doing a mukbang. You're a different story. You have a problem with food, you should not, and I repeat, not be doing this content. Period. End of story. Full stop. What they're doing is mukbanging. What you're doing is indulging in your food addiction on camera where everybody can watch and making yourself unhealthy, and you want an audience for it. It's wrong.
And it's also relative to how much the person ate for the rest of the day, which YouTube has no idea. So who are they to say?
Yeah, and you take advantage of that. That's your defense. Oh, you guys don't see what I eat off camera. So I might be eating nothing. So what I do on camera is okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. This meal right here, it looks unhealthy as hell. A lot of calories that don't need to be there. And we know we have a pretty good idea of what you do off camera, because you'll keep it hidden for a while and then you'll confess. Oh, I had some bad moments. And you try to minimize it by using the words overeating, because overeating doesn't sound as bad as having a binge moment. The word binge is severe. The word overeating is not so severe. When you overeat something, it doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal. For you, it is. Because you stuff yourself. You don't stop eating until you can't eat another bite. And then you wait 2 hours and then do it all over again. So whether it's a huge spread of food in front of you all at one time, or 4,000 or 5,000 calories with one meal, and then another 4,000 or 5,000 another meal, the result is still the same. You're gaining a lot of weight. You're becoming much more unhealthy. You won't go to a doctor to find out where you are with your health. You don't care about yourself, but you get on YouTube and you expect everybody else to care. And for those people that have criticisms, then you call us haters. You got your thinking all kinds of backwards, Chantal. Because the people that are on your channel, the feeder fucks that encourage you to eat, that talk about food, knowing you got a problem with food, they don't care about you. They don't care about your health problems. They don't care what those health problems could lead to, whether it's the hospital or the morgue. And no, I'm not wishing for Chantal to die. That's not a thought in my head. But when you do something harmful, something lethal could possibly happen. She don't care about that. She's got a myriad of health problems. She's got an enlarged heart. She's got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The last time she told us about her liver, it was 3 times the size of normal. She's got a lot of visceral fat packed around her organs, which, by the way, is extremely dangerous. Limited mobility, back problems, trouble breathing. I mean, how bad does it have to get? She's told the audience about all these things, and yet, feeder fucks don't care. All they care about is their interest. So those people that are encouraging you to do these things, Chantal, they are the true haters. They don't care about your health. They don't care what happens to you. Maybe the people on this side of the fence, the people that are reacting, the people in the audience that are saying this is wrong, this is bad, maybe they care about you more than the people that just encourage you to keep going forward with the food. You ever think about that? Those that are encouraging the addiction don't care about you. Those that are opposing it care a little bit more. Just think on that for a minute. Think hard.
We're going to demonetize your channel unless you eat 1,500 calories in your channel. You know what I mean? They can't do that.
Oh, yes, they can. You're not the boss of YouTube. If they want to demonetize your channel or your videos, they can do that. It's a company. It's a thing. You can't tell the company what to do. You can't make the rules. Are you mad because some of your videos have gotten the yellow dollar sign? I know that as reactors, we got to use code words and all this other shit. Even though we're not doing the behavior on camera, we're just talking about it. Little bots are running around looking for anything offensive. But are you mad and crabby because maybe some of your videos have been affected and the money's been affected, but yet you won't stop this shit? You're stubborn. You're going to continue on with it even though you shouldn't be doing it. Stay mad, Chantal. YouTube is putting their foot down and saying no. Pay attention. Do something else.
But if you're under eating and like, I hate my body, I want to starve myself, that kind of thing, I love my body.
No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. You don't love your body. You punish your body. You're punishing it. I don't know why, but you are. Your body's in bad health. If you loved your body, you would take care of it. You would pay attention to your bad health and do something about it. How can you sit there and say, I love my body, when you don't take care of it? When it's suffering and you just don't care. You feel something is wrong and you don't care. You're not going to a doctor and paying attention to what a doctor tells you. You avoid the doctor because you know he's not going to give you good news. He's going to give you all kinds of bad news, but yet you don't want to hear it. You're not ready to change it. So if you love your body, then love your body. Take care of it. Take care of your health, you twit. Stop punishing it. It's screaming for help. But it can't do anything from the inside. It's waiting on for you to do something. Stop punishing it with thousands of calories that you don't need. You eat 5,000 calories in one sitting. You don't need that much. You don't go anywhere. You don't do anything. All that fuel for what? For what? You're very sedentary. You're staying at the house all the time. What do you need those calories for? You don't. You don't need many calories to sit on a couch all day and scroll on your phone. You don't need all that. Don't sit there and say you love your body, though. If you loved it, you would take care of it. You would make things easier for it. It's doing all it can to keep you alive, to keep you breathing. Care about your health, Chantal. Stop caring so much about the paycheck and care about your fucking health.
I love my body because God made me the way I am. I know I don't want to harm it with food, but again,
But you do. But you do. You are hurting it with food. You're not eating healthy, nutritious food. You're eating junk. How does that benefit your body? How? What? Tell me. How does throwing down a bunch of carbs and fats and sugar help your body? It doesn't. Maybe that's why you feel sluggish all the time, Chantal. Maybe that's why you feel so tired. Because you're throwing down a bunch of junk down your throat. You're not giving it anything it can use.
again, my relationship with food has been disordered for many years.
Yeah, and you knew that all the way back then, and what have you done about it? You just made the problem worse. Like what's the thinking here? Oh, I have a problem with food, therefore I'm the victim and I can't control myself. Everybody feels sorry for me because I can't help myself. Well, if you can't help yourself, seek out help from where you can get the help with people that will help you. Don't sit there and throw your hands up and say, I can't do this. I give up. If you care about yourself, you won't give up. You will fight for your life.
The soup. You can use any like sweet potato works, pumpkin works. I think squash. Oh, alhamdulillah.
She's full. That's something else I can spot as someone that I, BED in recovery. She's full. She's way full, yet she wants to eat more. Yeah, I caught that, Chantal. That inhale, that means you're full. You're way over full. But you're not going to stop eating.
I have to say it again. By the way, I don't know why people like to put my behavior under a microscope and label it as good Muslim or not. Like, whether you're Muslim or not, if you're a human being, you should try to act nice. Just because you're not Muslim doesn't give you a pass to be an ass. Like,
I'm just going to call it like I see it. Chantal, you were in Canada and you had this preconceived notion in your mind that you were going to go to Kuwait and you thought that everybody in Kuwait was overweight. So maybe in your mind, you thought, well, I'll just fit right in because I'm overweight. I'm super morbidly obese. I'll just fit right in. And you also thought by wearing the abaya and the hijab, that would cover up how big you were and possibly how big you would be getting to Kuwait. So you went to Kuwait thinking you were just going to fit right in and you still stand out like a sore thumb. Because there's overweight, and then there's obese, and then there's super, super morbidly obese, which you are. So you went to Kuwait and you found out different. And you also thought because there are a lot of good Muslim people over there, because they are Muslim, and as part of their faith to be kind to others, you'd be in a society where nobody would say anything to you. You like that. Nobody's saying anything to you. But let's be clear. You are not a true Muslim woman. You don't have the Muslim faith in your heart. You are not about doing good acts of charity, being a good person. You've got a very foul mouth. So when we call you out and say you're cosplaying of being a Muslim, that's more truthful than you saying I'm a Muslim woman. You just try to use the Muslim faith to hide behind. You're just trying to be something that you're clearly not. It's not in your heart. You're not feeling the Muslim faith in your heart. And that's just disgusting to hide behind a faith that you're not really subscribing to.
These are rules that it's between me and God. Like, my sins are not for you to pick apart, you know? Like, a lot of people who judge me are Christian. Like, you have the same rules almost, you know? Just because I'm Muslim and I believe in Allah.
Nobody has a problem with you believing in Allah, Chantal. Nobody has a problem with anybody who's Muslim. It's your behavior that people have a problem with. The fact that you're claiming that you're making these changes, that you're newly reverted, and still you're acting foul. That's what everybody has a problem with, not Allah, not with the Muslim faith. There are lots of wonderful Muslim people in the world. There are lots of wonderful Christian people in the world. There's nothing wrong with any faith. As long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else in that faith, it's fine. Whatever you believe in is what you believe in. If it's in your heart and it's real and sincere, it's for you. Is your claim to be a Muslim woman, and yet you get on camera, you gossip, you slander, you use foul words, you're hateful, very, very hateful, when you really shouldn't be. And it's wrong.
Doesn't mean I'm not human and I don't make mistakes and
That's debatable, but go ahead.
I don't have issues, and you know,
Nobody's asking you to be perfect. No one's perfect. Perfection is simply something that those in advertising companies came up with and put on in magazines to make it seem like there are perfect people in the world and other people would aspire to be like them. Nobody's asking for a perfection. You don't have to be perfect, but you can choose to be perfectly happy. That's obtainable. We've all got issues, we've all got flaws, we've all made mistakes. How about trying to be a truly good person, though, Chantal? Can you do that? Can you be a truly good person in your heart? That is something you can get. That is something you can do if you want to. But you don't know how to do that. Because being nice and being good is so out of the norm for you that when you are, quote unquote, nice or good, you make a big deal of it. You make a big show of it. Oh, look what I did for so and so. Look, I actually went out and got groceries. Look, I'm petting the cat. Being good and being nice and being decent is so out of the norm for you. You have to show the entire world when you do a single solitary thing that the rest of us would just do and not make a big deal of it. That kind of points in the direction of how bad you are, actually. Trying to use a few simple, good, nice, decent, normal things to cover up all the bad you've done and you continue to do.
I always find that weird. You know? I like the salads. They're growing on me. Hi.
Look at that. Look at all that food down the front of her shirt. Why can't she get a bib or something to cover herself so her abayas don't get ruined? Like, she's sitting on the floor. She's got the laptop box on her lap and still she can't keep the food off her clothes. And that, my friends, is for the feeders also. They love to see that sloppiness. Look. Y'all see this? She even got food on her sleeve. And you wonder why Salah doesn't go out in public with you. You wonder why he's embarrassed to be seen with you because of shit like this right here. Almost 40 years old and you are a mess. Inside and out, you're a mess. You can't even eat a simple meal without being covered in food when you're done.
Ow! Ow! Okay, I don't know. I think this is saffron cake, but I smell cardamom and rose water, which are very popular ingredients. Oh, I'm actually feeling like I'm gonna be stuffed after this.
See, she's full. Miss Intuitive Eating, Miss I've got control of my food. She's telling us, I'm full. She's stuffed. She's not just full, she's stuffed. And that long inhale, exhale, we all do that when, dude, like the tank is almost topped off. You maybe got like a couple of ounces of space in your stomach and there's no more left. Miss Intuitive Eating should stop right here, stop right now. She could look at the camera and say, look, I can't eat anymore. I've got this cupcake in front of me. It can wait till later. But it's a sweet. She loves her sweet. She loves her carbs. She's got to stuff that in, even though she could stop right here. So tell me about your intuitive eating, Chantal. Your intuition, hell, your body is saying, stop here. Go no further. Yield. You're not paying attention. You're like, I want this cupcake, man. I want it. I'm not going to let my stomach stop me from eating it. You don't know what intuitive eating is.
I'm going to be satisfied. But it's nice and moist. Let's try it. Mmm. I can taste the cardamom.
And she's looking at it like it's not sweet enough. There's no frosting. There's no nothing. So yeah, it may be sweet, but she wants it loaded with sugar. If that sucker had frosting on it, she'd be devouring it in 3 bites.
And clove, maybe? It's a spicy saffron cake.
Up, that reaction, boom. Her eyes just flew open. That didn't happen during the rest of the meal. Happened with the cupcake. That's why she's always going for the sugar. Because you get that brain explosion. Boom, the sugar hits your brain. That's why even though she's stuffed, she had to eat that last little bit because she wanted that brain explosion.
I love Arabic desserts. Mahalabia.
Chantal, you love any desserts. If it's sugary, if it's sweet, you're all about that life.
Hawala al-Juban. Basbousa, Kanafa. Rose Haliba.
By the way, her talking about desserts, that was another signal to the feeders. Because she's talking about sweets. She just had that meal. They got to see her eat. Now she's continuing to talk about food even though she's stuffed.
What else? There's so many. Wow, that was a filling meal. Huh. Maybe because I...
No, she's not. Guarantee you she's not full. That was just a snack. She ate that on camera to make her little video. And who knows what's going on off camera, but I guarantee you she's not done. I've seen Chantal eat. This woman could pack it away. That was not enough. That was just an appetizer. That was just to get her by until her next meal.
ate breakfast and lunch in one. Well, that will keep me satisfied for a while.
For about an hour.
So yeah, I just didn't feel like ordering. We have a lot of food.
Nah, it's not like she didn't feel like ordering. She always feels like ordering. It's just that what they can afford these days. So if the food bill is extremely high because of all the takeout, Salam may be trying to make her like eat food at home to cut down on the food bill. Because whatever she's making on YouTube, I guarantee you she eats up most of her own paycheck.
Here, so especially after my grocery haul. I made the soup. I didn't think. Usually, I let fruits and vegetables go just waste, because I don't cook them in time. And
You don't cook them at all. That's why all of us are looking at you like, why did you buy all those vegetables? What about that last grocery haul, the one with all the fruit? What happened to that? You guys bought so much fruit. The cartons of figs. What happened to it? Where'd that go? Either it went to waste or it went to somebody else that Salah knows.
so I made the soup. I have to roast some tomatoes and garlic and make a couscous or tomato sauce. Add to things. What else do I have to make? I want to make these potato sticks. I keep seeing. I know it's a viral thing. I don't think it's viral, but you boil potatoes.
Chantal, why don't you just stop? You go on TikTok and you're always looking for things that are trending. Even though TikTok is not your platform, you're always looking to see what's trending. It doesn't matter if you find a trending food or a trending recipe. At the end of the day, it's you eating it. It's you putting it on YouTube, and it's not appealing. So you might as well just cut it out, following the trends, because no matter what you do, you're not going to be trending. You're not going to go viral for it.
And then you mash them and put like cornstarch and cheese and stuff. Then you...
Hey, you know what? Shut up. I'm done with you. I'm so annoyed with you. I'm so annoyed with the fact that you're still doing this crap on YouTube. And I'm really angry and pissed off that you're over there with a BED and you're doing videos where you talk about binge eating recovery, even though you're not in recovery. You might be triggering people all over the place with your content, and you just don't give an F about that. And at the same time, you're trying to attract the feeders. You're trying to combine audiences, different kinds of audiences that don't need to be combined. Listen, if you want to get on YouTube and do food content, do it. Just come out and say what you're doing. Stop trying to tiptoe around YouTube. We know what you're doing. We know why you're doing it. You want to get on YouTube. You want to make your money by eating your food because you're a lazy content creator. You don't want to make content. You just want to eat and get paid for it, and that's that. Let's go on to the comments. Magnolia says, what I don't understand is how you rant and rave about this diet that you were going to go on because you're tired of being heavy and unhealthy, but you haven't done anything to change. She doesn't want to change. Anybody on Chantal's side of the fence that you're not a feeder. You care about Chantal. You care about her health. You see her get sick. You're concerned for her welfare. Understand that, yes, maybe you're a good person. She doesn't care about herself. And as long as she's on YouTube monetizing this kind of content and making money off of it, she's not going to change, okay? I'll just save you the headache by telling you that those of you that care about Chantal, you have more care for her than she has about herself. And the only way that change is going to happen is if she cares about herself first. Before anybody else, she's got to care about herself. As long as she doesn't, you're going to see more of this. Let's see. Austin says, in the words of Dr. Phil, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Well, she'll acknowledge it for the sake of getting attention, but she'll go no further than that. She'll talk about her problem with food. At the same time, she's doing the food videos. She'll acknowledge it for sympathy, but she won't go further. She won't change the problem. She won't fix the problem. Let's see. And she's editing the comments again. Jessica says, you eat a ridiculous amount of food to the point it's a pathology. It's visible in your portion sizes on your body, and your flippant dismissal of how serious your issues with food are doesn't fool anyone. If this and all the other portions you defend as being even remotely normal, you wouldn't weigh as much as 4 people. It's really quite simple. Yeah, if she was so knowledgeable and educational about health, why is she so unhealthy? I mean, she's on the internet. She's on YouTube. Anything you want to know about getting healthy, about exercising or doing low impact aerobics or portion sizes or anything, there's videos for it. She's got nothing else to do except be on YouTube all day. If she cared about her health, why not seek out the knowledge? It's there. It's there for the taking. But no, she's on TikTok looking at what's trending and how she can capitalize on it, borrowing other people's ideas. Let's see. Digital Watcher said, this is not a lot of food. She's had way more than this. Yeah, but who's to say what she's eating off camera? Like just by her eating that meal, I could tell she wasn't done. She was just eating a certain portion of food on YouTube because if she ate a bunch more, she would be getting in trouble with YouTube. So the portions she puts in front of us, that's YouTube acceptable, I guess. She can't do what she wants to do a full-on binge. Trust me. She wants to, but YouTube is telling her, no, you can't do that. So she pulls it back for the camera. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of comments from people who are supporting her. Of course, she's going to keep those. Golden Girl says, all EDs are very difficult to cure. That's true. The hope is that those with eating disorders can just get better control of their eating or lack thereof. Of all the addictions, food, in my opinion, is one of the worst because you can't just quit. People need to be more understanding and not be so critical of those with any addiction. One thing that can really annoys me is when an addict or someone sober judges another addict. You know what, Golden Girl? I have a BED in recovery. I'm critical of Chantal. I would be more sympathetic to Chantal if she had her BED and she was trying, but she's not trying. She's glorifying her eating. She glorifies her eating problem. Okay? She's always signaling the feeders. That's where I have the most anger. I don't see what she's doing as her really trying. I see what the only thing she's trying to do is getting around YouTube policy. She's not someone that she cares about herself or health, despite the fact she's very unhealthy. Everybody's been telling her, go to therapy, get healthy. We'll still be here for you. We won't abandon you. We will be subscribed to your channel. We'll watch you no matter what you do. You don't have to do food content. Yet she's lazy. She wants to glorify her eating rather than fix it. So as someone that I've dealt with BED, I have very little sympathy for Chantal. Very little. Just because of the way she's handling things. She's not handling them in the right way. She's making the problem worse rather than better. And when I watch her videos and I see her pulling this bullshit, it's like you just said. You know, like, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. One addict cannot lie to another. You cannot look another person who was once addicted in the eye and say, oh, I'm trying, when you're really not, because they'll see right through you. And I see through her. She's not trying. She's leaning into the food rather than trying to back away. All right, so that's it for the comments. So that's it for this react. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you very much for being here. And leave a comment yourselves if you'd like. Love to hear from you. Take care and have a good day.